Hello, family. It's me. I'm broadcasting live from our apartment in Orem, Utah, and I'm feeling just a little bit silly. But I think it'll be fun to do a video blog this week, since that's kind of a new feature that you can have on our blog. Yeah, and Becca's shuffling around in the back. She'll probably make a little video pretty soon here too. But I guess the big news this week is that on Friday I finally finished my last papers for my undergrad degree. I now can talk somewhat intelligently about Brazil's diplomatic relations with other countries during the latter end of the 20th century, and I can also talk about the history of Angola. I don't know who I'll talk about those things with, but it was a fun experience learning those things. It took a long time. Like, oh gosh, I don't even know how many hours. Like 24 hours or more. I don't know. I'm feeling just a little bit nervous. This is the first video broadcast I'll have put on the blog. But anyway, I'm also happy because I made curry again yesterday. Becca and I made one of our curries.
It was tasty.
And Becca thought it was pretty good. I thought it was pretty good too. Unfortunately, we broke our food processor when we were moving from our last place, or shortly before we moved. It melted. We had a little accident in the kitchen, so I had to chop all of the onions just with a knife. But it was quite the experience. I cried my eyes out, but I made a huge batch, so I'm going to be eating that over the next couple of weeks. Gosh, it's kind of boring to somebody who's not me, but it was a fun experience. I like it. I really like Indian food. Let's see. Last week, the beginning of last week, and last weekend, we drove out to Modesto, and we were able to see some of you. It was a good trip. My driver's license expired a few months ago, so Becca had to do all the driving.
And I did it.
And she did it. That was the first time she ever made that drive out there. Both ways. Usually she didn't even want to trade off with me. It was so hard. But anyway, we've seen a couple of movies lately. Sweetland being one of them. Don't bother. It looks good. It's got a great story, but it just turned out not to be as good of a movie as it should have been. I have to say the same thing about The Peaceful Warrior. It's got a good message, but just bad script. But Becca and I, because of some confusion with Netflix, we canceled our subscription there. But before we canceled it, they sent us some movies, which is why we watched them. And we got to see the first month of the second season of House. House is a TV show that we just love, and we really enjoyed that. We started the second Harry Potter book. We've never read it, so I don't know. These are just little boring tidbits about our lives and what we're doing. Been hanging out with our friends a little bit. Had some people over. We really like this apartment. Becca will eventually fool with the lighting, and when we clean the back of the house a little bit more, we'll show you it on our video blog. No pets in this apartment. That's unfortunate. Becca and I were really looking forward to having pets. But apparently that's a new rule because we've seen lots of little dogs and cats. I think the funniest thing I've seen is a rather large white rat that was being walked by these little kids. They didn't have a leash for it. They had kind of a harness on the thing. And the rat was pretty confused. It looked like, at first it thought it was free, and then it was kind of bugged about not being free. We went to our church building. We went to church here in Orem for the second time, and Becca and I are a little bit excited because it's the first normal congregation, normal ward that we'll have attended regularly in a long time. When we first got married, we were going to a congregation that was just for married students, and I think the oldest people in that ward, other than the bishop, were, I don't know, in their late 20s. Most of them were newlyweds, so the girls were between 19 and 23, and the guys were between about 22 and 25. So that was a different experience, and a lot of them came from really rich families too. And then we moved to the next place. Gosh, I've made Becca move so much. We moved to the next place where we live in our basement apartment, and we had like either really young people or really old people. Nobody in their 30s almost, which is cool. We actually really loved those people a lot. But now we're going to just normal congregation, people from every age, and it's really neat. We met with the bishop today. He seems like a really great guy. We're impressed that he wanted to meet with us so quickly. He seems to really know the ward. Things look good. On a side note, I've gotten kind of back into going on the chat room I go to. It's called the website I really like is called polyglot-learn-language.com, and they've got a chat site on there, and I go there, and I've been kind of getting into that again, and it's really fun to talk to people from all around the world. I get to chat with people in Portuguese and Spanish, and then I also chat with people who are learning English. And I've chatted with a couple. I think this is kind of interesting. I've chatted with a couple of girls that are in high school, and they are Turks that are going to high school in Jordan, in the Middle East. And the reason they're doing that is because they're not allowed to wear their veils in high school in Turkey. And they're devout Muslim girls, so they're in Jordan going to school. I thought that was interesting, so I've just kind of been, it's been kind of cool getting to know those people and finding out what that's like. And I guess that's kind of my life for right now. Thanks for listening to this whole thing. I don't know if it's better or worse than reading me rambling on, but we love you all, and thanks for coming to our site. Helps us be connected as family and friends, and we'll see how this goes. Bye-bye.